ready for the eliminations this coming Thursday. Here's another Calypso and getting ready as well is Lady Destiny. And I do believe this is King Miko's daughter.
50 years of Culturama. This gonna be a big one. Culturama coming. Navy celebrating 50 years of culture awakening. We feeling pride. We feeling nostalgia. Because we rescue our culture from out of the gutter.
morning and welcome to another edition of Power Talk. I am your host, Patrice Harris, Corporate Communications Manager at SKELEC. Power Talk is a radio program brought to you by the St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, where we share with you all of the latest updates and happenings at SKELEC. This morning, I am pleased to be joined by members of SKELEC's metering department, where we're going to be discussing SKELEC's new metering standards and guidelines. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining me on air this morning, and I will allow each of you to introduce yourself to our listening and viewing audience.
Mr. Walters, Lead Technician Metering Department.
Good morning, Mr. Walters.
Good morning.
Happy to have you back here on our program.
Andy Williams, AMI Engineer, Metering Department.
And it's your first time here, it's your maiden visit to Power Talk.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
we hope to have you back. We hope to have you back after this program. And finally,
Yes, good morning. I'm Carl Phipps, trainer and meter facilitator at SKELEC.
all right, Mr. Fitz, it's also your first time here,
Yes.
so thank you for joining us. Now, today we're going to be discussing SKELEC's new metering standards. And as much as we're saying new metering standards, some of these components are not new. But we're taking this opportunity to engage in public sensitization so that members of the public can be aware as to what exactly will be accepted by SKELEC when it comes to installation of new supplies and finally our meters. It's very important that this is a standardized process so we don't have any chaos and that we don't have instances where different things are taking place. So Mr. Andy Williams is the AMI engineer and he will be the one who will be dealing with most of the questions today, and Mr. Walters and Mr. Phipps will be supporting him and helping to answer any questions, especially from you, our callers. So please feel free to call in when I do open the phone lines towards the end of the program. So Andy, what are the new metering standards that SKELEC is currently implementing or have implemented?
Okay. Good morning again, all. The new metering standards covers a myriad of installation issues, right? So first of all, it covers the wire code for meter installations. It also covers wire sizes for metering supplies. It covers meter location and meter installation. Last but not least, changes to the application process to ensure adequate electrical information from electricians.
Okay, so we're looking at the wire code, the sizes, the meter location, and the meter installation.
Correct.
So why is it that SKELEC at this juncture has decided to implement or create these new standards?
Okay. Well, as SKELEC moved to improve the reliability and the quality of its supply to our customers, it was identified that we needed to document and formalize our metering service. To one, clarify the application process and to ensure that we obtain all necessary electrical details from our customers and the electricians. Two, to standardize the meter point characteristics such as location, height, and conductor size. Three, to define the work environment, ensure ease of maintenance and audit.
So essentially we were encountering some difficulties when persons were installing new supplies. So it was important for us to ensure that we created these new standards. So a two-part question. How will the standards help SKELEC and how will the standards help the stakeholders? So all of the different groups that are involved.
Okay, so this should answer both questions at the same time.
Okay.
The customers, contractors, and electricians would have a clear guideline as to what is required. Two, it would provide SKELEC's technicians with an environment to operate efficiently and safely. I don't know if that would cover both of them, but...
So I want us to kind of break it down because sometimes I don't think people understand why we are doing certain things. We're saying safety and we're saying convenience, but what are the challenges that we experience? And perhaps Mr. Walters and Mr. Phipps can assist with this question. What are the challenges that we experience when we go out into the field as to why we have to prioritize the safety and the convenience for our staff?
I'll let either the gentleman answer the question. Mr. Walters, Mr. Harris.
Any challenges when we go out into the field? Anything, any reason in particular why we need to have these standards?
Sometimes when you go out into the field, we experience this, like, for example, the color code is not correct. Sometimes the labeling is not correct. In terms of the location of the meter, the electricians put it different places. The too low, the height. Sometimes it's the height. It should be 6 feet maximum to the bottom of the meter base, 5 feet minimum height to the bottom of the base. Sometimes we have it. Sometimes we have problems in terms of you reach on site. It's like you have to actually go on your knees to actually install a meter. Not safe for the workers. You know, you can't kneel and do an installation. The space is, we have a problem with the space. So that's one of the reasons why we have to come up with the standards. Sometimes we have situations where we have the meters preparation is made above the garbage. That's the next problem we have.
What's wrong with that? I see everybody having their meters around their garbage now. What's wrong with that?
It's a health hazard.
You sure? So why do people still have it like that?
It's not good for the workers. Pardon me?
Why do people still have it like that?
Have it like that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, right now, some people got away with that. But now we're standardizing it. We don't want that. If you're gonna do put the meter, it has to be at least 4 feet away from the garbage.
And then not only for the metering team, but we have our meter reading team who go out and they collect readings.
Yes, correct.
And can you imagine you go on one project and you have to be pulling out 20 garbage bins just to read meters. We have sanitary issues. Right. Sometimes people don't wash the bins, they're very foul, the area is very foul. So I ask the question just to be a devil's advocate, but I really want people to recognize that we have our staff who are coming out not only to collect readings but to perform maintenance on the meters, to check out the meters, and it's just very not sanitary, not safe to have them in that dark, cramped space. So please move away. Well, the new standards that can't do that anymore.
No, you can't do that anymore.
It looks nice, might be more convenient for you, but we're not allowing that anymore.
And sometimes when you reach on site for an inspection and you say to the owner or the electrician, it's a no-no, you know what I mean, they get upset.
But we have the standards now to guide that.
Right, and they will say, you don't have anything in writing and so on. So we had to step down and think about getting the standard in place. And also the coding.
And you spoke about location and height. So it's not only about placing the meters 6 feet high, but they have to be real.
It should not be on the property. It should be on in the fence.
Property line. In the property line.
Can we tell people why this is important? Let me tell y'all why. We had a program here some time ago, and the meter readers, we had them here. And they were saying about the fact that people leave their dogs untied, or they notice the day they're coming to collect readings, so they set the dogs. And it's very unsafe to have our members of staff going into properties where there's loose dogs, and we have many dogs on bike show. These are the things that we have to think about. It's not safe. We don't have to be going into people's homes to conduct maintenance on meters or to change meters. That's just SKELEC is responsible for distribution to the point of connection, not for the home. Correct?
Exactly.
Correct.
Good. All right. Lovely. So what do we expect? What are the expectations of the stakeholders? Now that we have these standards, what are we expecting from the stakeholders? We're talking about electricians. We're talking about project managers. What are we expecting from them?
Expecting them to comply to
compliance,
the policy that we put now in place. So when we reach on site on the job, they have exactly what we have on the farm.
Yes, we expect your compliance.
Yes.
Remember, Mr. Waters spoke earlier about people abusing and saying this ain't how we go. We have the standards now. So we expect you to comply, which means to adhere, to follow the rules. These rules were not just created haphazardly, they were created because it makes our life as SKELEC staff easier, and your life as a stakeholder, a homeowner, a contractor, an electrician easier. We're increasing that level of convenience.
Yes.
What's the timeline for these new metering standards?
I'll answer that. The metering standards, dubbed version 2024.05.15, took effect on May 15, 2024. So yes, the metering standard has already been implemented, and they are going forward, and I don't see any issues with it so far. So yeah, so just to know that everyone has, if you didn't know that the standards took place or has taken effect already, I'm letting you know right now that the standard has taken effect, and so it's time for us to comply. And
Yes.
Yeah, these input with the policies are also good for the stakeholders as well. Because sometimes when we reach on site and we realize that they don't have what we're asking for, we're going to stand the responsibility correcting it. So if we send out this policy and the electrician and the stakeholders adhere to it, when we reach, we should get what we want on this and the policies.
Because it will be very costly and timely.
Exactly.
I always say to people, mistakes are costly, they are timely.
Yes.
If you can avoid having to make a mistake, you please, and we will get into that. How do we assist customers or our different stakeholders who might not understand exactly what the standards are? What type of resources or help do we usually provide these individuals with?
What we're planning on doing right now is organize some sort of pamphlet or leaflet. So when the electrician come to the office to sign, we give that leaflet to him with all the guidelines and everything.
And I'm certain that the metering department is open to taking calls.
Yes, they are.
I don't want to say visits, but I know we have a sterile area, but the calls from any of our stakeholders who might need some further clarity.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, good. So will we have any workshops or informational sessions or any of these types of engagements with our stakeholders?
Like on May 15th of this year, we hosted a conference with electricians, the contractors, at the Kuna Conference Center. Right. It was two parts. We were able to introduce our seriousness regarding the standards, and we also got feedback from the electricians and the contractors about the concerns and stuff like that. And so it was a very good exchange of information. We plan to have a conference 2025,
Nice.
but that is incumbent upon feedback and of course management directives. It is in the intention of the metering department to conduct, like I said, the 2025, and hopefully that it will be an ongoing situation where we can constantly disseminate information to the general public. Well, the general public meaning the stakeholders, the contractors, and the electricians, and also the homeowners. And the important thing about this too is this show that we're doing this morning is not as detailed and as granular as the standards would be, because it's very detailed. However, we're here to just bring this information to the general public, definitely to the persons building houses, to know that when I employ a contractor and an electrician, he has to make sure that the standards are upheld, because like you said, mistakes are expensive. We don't want a contractor to go and do things and then you, the homeowner, have to pay for it to be undone and be done correctly. So it's important for us to bring this information to you so that you can be guided accordingly. Insofar as information that is going to be available, is also going to be available via e-document. SKELEC will be sending to, I forgot to mention, when the contractors and the electricians came to the conference center, they were registered in a SKELEC metering forum, group forum. All information will also be disseminated through that forum, to keep all electricians and all stakeholders therein apprised of all of the changes within the metering, within the metering standards, the new metering standards. Also, pamphlets will be available at our main office on Central Street, and the documents will also be posted on the SKELEC's website. So it's a full across the board dissemination of all information. We're not hiding anything. We want everybody to know,
To be aware.
to be aware. Become second nature and second knowledge for us to move forward in a positive direction.
All right, I'm going to take the opportunity now to open the phone lines. If there is any caller who might want to ask a question or share their observation as it relates to the topic this morning, SKELEC's metering standards, or even to speak about any other SKELEC concerns that they might have. All right. One of the things that I felt it was important to mention is that we did have stakeholder engagement sessions, and you spoke about the one with the electricians and the architects and the project managers, etc. But we also had stakeholder engagement sessions with other groups. Do you want to share with us who some of these other groups were? That's fine.
We had a engagement with the planning unit. Plan development,
Planning board,
yes, and the public works electrician
inspectors, the public work
those.
inspectors.
Also, we had
they were
engagement. We had actually engagement with the hardware stores, the managers and procurement people persons for the hardware stores. Obviously, for obvious reasons, they were the one who be purchasing all of the standardized wiring, colors and sizes, so they were important. So it's like Miss Harris said, it was not haphazardly done. A lot of thought went into it, and so this is the best delivery that we think that is needed to go forward.
All right. Do you have any of the major points from the standards that you just want us to take this opportunity? We have a caller to reinforce, so you can look for them in the meanwhile while we take this caller. Good morning, caller, you're live.
Good morning, my dear, and how are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing okay, but I have a problem with the same house that you said is supposed to build to put in the meter. I think it's a little too... You have too much width. How I must put it? The width and the length is the same. 4 by 4. Right? I think it should have been 4 by 2. Give the yard space a little more. Then people cannot put in the garbage pan. Because you're leaving room to put in a garbage pan. You see what I'm coming from?
I hear you, caller.
Because I'm building one right now, I'm working on one right now. It's too much space. It should have been about 2 feet going one way and 4 feet going the other way, just like I just said. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But you're giving it too much space, and people are going to put in the garbage pan. Trust me.
All right, caller, that's food for thought.
Think about it.
That's food for thought. Gentlemen, anybody want to comment on that?
4 by 2. That's something we can look into, because sometimes the width is sometimes depends on the house. Sometimes you have an apartment you might build on later on, so the space, the width, in terms of the 4 feet, you might have, you say you have 1 meter for now. That's inside the 4 feet. You might say, okay, let me add on 2 more apartments. You have the space. The space is there
to
add.
So let's stick up in there. We're gonna get back to it. Don't forget that question. We do have another caller. Good morning, caller. You're live.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm okay. Just a question. What could cause a light bill you custom to paying? Let's say you custom to $75 every month.
How much?
you've custom to pay like $75 are in the region there every month.
Okay.
And then this month, your light bill just come to $160 something dollars. Like, I mean, what could be the cause of that? You're doing nothing different. What could be the cause of that?
All right. We will explain some possible scenarios to you. I will start first, and then these gentlemen, their department is also responsible for high bills, so they can explain some of what they see when they go out into the field. Oh, we're buzzing with callers today, but I really want to take this one. I tell you, when Buckshot come on the radio, it's a lot of excitement does come. I want to talk about the bill moving from 75 to 160, but I don't want to lose these callers. So everybody write, okay? Write. Next, we're coming back to your caller. 4x2 and bill from 75 to 160. We got you. Next caller. Good morning. You're live.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I want to say, I like the guy who said he's building whatever he's building there for the garbage. I want to support him with that. But let me say something here now. If me have something on my property to prevent the workers from SKELEC to come and do their work, then SKELEC should do something about that.
Absolutely.
If I refuse to move whatever it is that's stopping the workers from do their work, you all do the work from in your office. And you know what I mean? And then the next thing, too long now people have been complaining about power lines running through trees, especially between Halfway Tree and Sandy Point. A lot of that complaint been coming in regular. And I think it is more than time that those lines or the trees should have been separated. That in this time of anything, the tree don't bust down the line. Up to Sunday, I heard somebody call on the radio and complain about that. Power lines run through trees in Sandy Point. And they've been talking about it for a while. So I would like SKELEC workers them to go out there and please prioritize this kind of situation.
Thank you, caller.
Yes,
For some time, we have now re-employed several vegetation contractors. So we now have 3 vegetation management contractors, private contractors, who are robustly out in the field right now clearing the line. So yes, there was a backlog of that. We do have the contractors on board now. We are in the hurricane season, and what we have recognized is that the peak, which is typically around September where you get these massive storms, has now shifted forward, and we're now seeing for the first time in many years more massive storms earlier in the season. And SKELEC has really prioritized this, at least over the last 6 weeks, where we're trying to clear the line. So please don't go weary in calling to tell us where these areas are, because we are trying as best as possible to get them cleared. So I've already taken note of the area with Halfway Tree to Sandy Point, but if there are other areas, please call our emergency hotline 465-2013. 465-2013. Next caller, GQ. Good morning, caller, you're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, lovely program. I just want to touch on 2 things where I would like them guys to also add as well too.
Okay.
When they're building the meter point, we prefer the contractors them to build it facing outward. Not so when you put up the fencing, it end up on the inside as well too.
But that's a part of it, right?
Yes,
That's a part of the new standards. It has to be facing out.
Outside.
Yeah, because back then, up in the pond side, you got one day bill on the inside and you got like 4 or 5 dogs in the yard. So it's still defeating the purpose.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
and
bringing that.
also, not only that, when you build them as well too, you cannot enclose them. Because we have an encounter where people put on metal gate on them and then you can't get access to do what you got to do.
Yes. Yes, sir. That is absolutely
I
true.
wonder why they're putting the metal gates. I think people will steal the garbage bins.
No.
No, the meter itself. People build like
based on the law,
bubble bars and
SKELEC
put on a
must
gate
have
and locking them.
based on the law, SKELEC must have access to the meter.
Exactly.
They must have access. So they should not be turned inside. There should not be any gates or
and locks.
fence or blocks or anything around them. SKELEC must have access to that meter to be able to provide maintenance, upgrades, installations, change outs, anything at all with that area. So thank you,
you very
caller.
much.
We do have other callers, but
Good
thank
point.
you for
Good
that
point,
those
caller.
contributions.
Very good point.
All right, any other callers, GQ? All right, so let's go back up. We had a recommendation of changing the size from 4x4 to 4x2, and Mr. Walter said that that is something that we can take into consideration. I think Mr. Phipps was joining in if he had something else to add. The next area we want to talk about is the bill that would have moved from $75 to $160. Now, remember that your bills are based on consumption. Once you use 200, less than 200 kilowatts, you benefit from an electricity savings or energy savings of 50%. So you only actually pay half of what the bill really is. From the time you pass that 200 kilowatt, which kilowatts you might be 201, 202, 203, you're now going to be paying the full value of your bill, which is why it looks like it has doubled, plus whatever additional you would have used. So your bills are based on consumption. Just simple activities that you're doing around your home might cause you to move from below that 200 to above that 200. You might not realize that you might have been using an appliance more. Something happened in your household that you think, well, may I do nothing different, but in reality, there was some change in consumption. So that's the first scenario, and the gentleman will tell me about the other scenarios.
There's one other scenario that is not technical. However, if you adding to what you said with our tiered billing system, because as you bill, as time goes along, obviously you use more and more units. So if your billing period on your bill says 22 days or 24 days, and then you have the next one that says 34 days, it's going to affect your bill because like I said, as time increases, your usage increases, and so you might end up in a higher tier, and you will pay based on that tier that you find yourself in at the billing at the
Because
end of the billing
the
period.
extra days.
Yes, and so I find that to be the case sometimes when we go out and do high bill complaints. So that is one area also that that you have to look at. That's probably not technical. Customer service could bring to your attention if you go down there, or something you can check out for yourself. So yes.
All right. Mr. Waters, Mr. Phipps, is there anything else you wanted to add based on the calls that we would have gotten from our customers today? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
The high bill complaint, right? It could come from a lot of different things. Some people have the bill in a way of different to others. The transformer come in and go directly to the transformer rather than it go to the main switch and then come back to the transformer. So you'll find a lot of people will say, oh well, I went with for a whole month and I come back and I still get a bill. My bill's still kind of up, but the transformer on all the time. Even if they turn off the main switch, the transformer's still on running. So they ain't gonna look into that, but they're just looking at the bill and say, well,
And based on the size, and also based on the size of the transformer.
Some of them got a double one transformer, which is on the secondary side of the transformer, you're gonna be a different thing coming out from the other transformer. But the other thing is that when people will look at the bill and say they went in July, and when they come out they get a bill. But the bill ain't actually for the
period they were on.
Right, exactly.
And that's what they're looking at. Now they come back and they get that bill. They make a complaint.
So yes, it's important for you to just engage our customer service team. They should be able to explain to you, help you to understand your bill. You have to ensure that you are receiving an actual bill and not an estimated bill. It might be some difficulty on your behalf as a customer why you're getting an estimated bill and not an actual bill. on the bill there is an area that says billing code. If it's an A, it's actual. If it's an E, it's estimated.
Yes.
These are things that you have to pay attention to. The period in which the bill is for, the usage. You can even predict your bill if you're using our online bill calculator. You have to sign up for our online billing portal, which is eBiz, to be able to access that. And if you can see how much you use on a daily basis, you can see all of these things on a monthly basis, just as you can see on your bill. So it's very important for you to become bill smart, to be able to understand the challenges that you might think that you're experiencing with your bill. All right, I think we're just about at the end of the program. We're now going to start wrapping up. GQ, we don't have any more callers, no? All right, so gentlemen, it's the opportunity to wrap up now. Please stress to the customers and the listeners, the callers, where they can go to get information about SKELEC's new metering standards. In no particular order, I know you don't want to leave, but we have to wrap up.
Like I said before, the metering standards, the pamphlets are not available at this particular point in time. They are in short order. They will be, and they'll be available at our main office on Central Street, and they will be available online, and they will be sent to the electricians forum. So those will be the areas, and the timeline. Like I said, we don't know exactly when I would have the pamphlets, but they're in very short order. They will be available for dissemination.
But in the interim, you can
always call the metering department, and I'll come to customer service, and we'll be guided. We can guide you accordingly.
All right, Phipps, Walters.
Yeah, I would like for every electrician who gather these policies to go according to them.
Mm-hmm.
So when we reach the site, everything is in proper order.
Definitely. Yes. And don't abuse when you see us come in. We have standards that we are guided by, and we're guided by the law. We have access to these meters based on the law. So stop abusing. All right, Mr. Walters?
Yes, we don't. What we said, as Mr. Phipps said, and Andy said, Mr. Williams said, is that we don't want to have to come and say to you, you have to break it down. Right? You have to break it down. Yes. That is not our standards. And what something we realize also, the upright, the pipe, the 2-inch pipe, a lot of the electricians have the tendency of strapping it to the wall. This is hurricane season. Strapping to the wall is not a good thing. Sometimes we are asking you to actually build a column, or you put it down in the block hole and you cement it down. Or even if you're going to strap it, we want you to build a column around it to hold it a little more firmer, because tomorrow the hurricane comes, that 2-inch pipe will be on the ground.
And it takes a longer time for you to get your power back.
Yeah.
Learn that the hard way.
And the temporary supplies also, we're asking to strap them, make them firm and good, brace it.
Yes, sir.
With the upright, brace the upright, so when we come on site, it is firm and good, and it is well grounded.
All right, and again, remember, temporary supplies are temporary, so you should not have them forever.
Right. Yes.
There are lots of things we have to talk about, but we have to leave now. GQ is giving me the wink, so we have to leave now. I want to take this opportunity just to express a solemn moment to our brothers and sisters in the neighboring Caribbean islands who were struck, and Hurricane Beryl is actually still making its way, so we still can see some other impact as well. SKELEC is a part of a regional body called the CARILEC. It's a regional body of utilities, and they also have a disaster program, and it might mean that we have to lend assistance to our brothers and sisters, and we are prepared to do so. So we want to take this opportunity to let them know that our thoughts and prayers are with them. It could happen to any one of us at any point in time during this season, and that is why we are stressing preparation for this particular season, which is expected to be a hyperactive season. Please don't sleep on this season. Please be prepared, do what is necessary so we can minimize damage to property and to lives. All right, thank you for tuning in to SKELEC's Power Talk this morning. Remember that SKELEC is the nation's leading utility provider, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Bye bye.